The only way for you to be in control of your own deal flow is for you to be outsourcing the deals, you out finding the deals, right? Is that if you are waiting for realtors to call you or for pieces to get listed, you are not in control of your own deal flow. And it's very hard to scale a business. And I'll talk more specifically my model if you aren't in control of your own deal flow. And so that's why we push off market so hard and about marketing and going and finding the pieces you want to market to is that one is figuring out what you're trying to find, clearly understanding the buy box and what you're looking for, what's the criteria, and then going and locating those pieces through technology. It's not through driving around town, and then marketing to them, right? Cold calling, direct mail, whatever it may be. But let's talk first about LDP, land with development potential, and more specifically, we have 5. And some those of you that are students of ours, one, thank you for being a part of the journey with us in our community. But you might already understand what I'm about to say, and that is the 5 basic criteria that make a piece have development potential. Okay, because we're not just looking for any type of land. We're looking for land that has development potential, and we specialize in residential, okay? Mainly single family. We are venturing into multifamily right now, but mainly single family. And so, but to be clear, I should tell you now is so we teach you how to go find these deals, how to market these deals, how to talk to these landowners, how to get these pieces entitled, approved for development, and how to sell them. But I want to make sure you understand entitlements itself, which is what we specialize in, getting land approved for development, is really majority the same no matter what asset class it is, right? So if you learn entitlements, you can kind of do different asset classes depending on what your desire is. But let's go back to sourcing and criteria. Development potential. You might see a beautiful piece of vacant land and you think it's the prime piece. I can tell you more than likely it probably is not. Okay. Because one, it's what is the property zoned or what it can be rezoned to? Okay. What is the property zoned and what can it be rezoned to? Okay. We rezone property all the time. Land is zoned for, it's just ag land, agricultural land, but the jurisdiction does want it to develop. And so then we get it rezoned for development, or we annex it into the jurisdiction and get it zoned for development, whatever it may be. A lot of people stop right there and they think, and even landowners we're talking to, oh, I'm zoned for development. That's great, but there's many other criteria. And also, just because you're zoned for development doesn't mean you can just go develop the land. You still got to take it through the entitlement process, the governmental approval process before it can ever be developed. But okay, so 1 is zoning, right? 2 is utilities, at least for the type of developments we do, because we're not out doing developments that are like 1 acre, 2 acre, 5 acre, 10 acre lots. A lot of times those can be done on like septic systems and even well water. Main areas in country we focus on and the type of projects we do, we need public utilities. So we need public water and we need public sanitary sewer. Okay. There's variations to that. Like there's something like we're doing in a few places right now in Texas called a packaging plant where we're actually not going to use public sanitary sewer, but that's a whole nother topic. For the most part, majority of the time, we need public water and public sanitary sewer. Okay. And it doesn't have to be at the property. It just needs to be near the property, close enough to where we can justify the cost to bring it to the property. Okay. Number 3 is access. There's lots of great property out there that might meet all the criteria, but the problem is the property is landlocked, meaning you can't get to it. Is you need access to the property. You need public right-of-way access because you can't develop it if people can't get to it. Okay. So number 3 is access. Number 4 is something that you have to look at closely, and that's the topography of the land. Okay, number 4 is topography. What is the grade of the land? And this has mainly to do with cost. Is that you need to know this: land that's flat, it costs the least to develop, and it's worth the most amount of money. Meaning that if you go build a home there, more than likely a home on a flat lot versus a sloped lot, you'll get more for the flat lot because people want their land to be usable, right? They want that usable backyard. But so we develop land that is on slopes, but the thing is, just understand, more than likely it's going to cost more to develop it, okay? And therefore it's going to make the land worth less. And usually it's going to sell for less. And so topography is a big thing we look at related to development potential, because I've seen plenty of properties where we chose to not pursue it because the development costs were so high, the project it didn't remotely pencil or work, okay? And then number 5 is overlays. You might find a beautiful piece that meets the first 4 criterias, but once you go and you pull some of the online mapping that's available to you, is you'll see there's an overlay on the property. It could be a floodplain, a wetland, an environmentally protected area. It could be, there's all these different types of overlays, which makes a lot of times that portion of the property undevelopable. And so we call that unusable land. And unusable land has no value to us. But I will tell you all the time, majority of the time, yeah, I'd say majority. Well, let's just call it 50-50. Is we'll go and we'll do pieces that have overlays on them. So a portion of the land is unusable. And we just develop and we value the portion of the land that is usable. So you've got to make sure you clearly understand overlays and looking at what overlays, if any, are on the property. Okay. Those are the 5 basic, very high level criteria to development potential. Okay. Remember the business model, LDP, land with development potential. And so those are just 5. Obviously, we go way deeper in our actual education company, VestRight. But those are the 5 basic criteria of development potential.